Ashley. I'm going to be your dietitian today. Tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you like to do for fun?
For fun, I like to fish. I like to fish a lot. I like to do some hiking with the family, not like overnight backpacking type stuff, but just like a mile or two, or maybe three or four.
Yeah.
Just like to be outdoors, really.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you been hiking recently?
No, ever since it turned cold and got dark early, we really haven't been out.
Yeah, definitely. I don't like hiking in the cold either. For being outside in the cold.
Been fishing in the cold, but that's it.
Okay, that doesn't stray you away from fishing. Still fish in the cold. All right. Well, what brings you in today?
Well, I have chronic kidney disease, and I found out back in 2005. And I basically have one functioning kidney, and just over the years, it's just slowly, it's gotten worse. And I think it was just due to age. But this last time I went, it made a significant jump, more than what I'm used to seeing, and that kind of scared me. My creatinine was jumped from a 3.2 to a 4.0, and I'm just here to maybe try to change the way I look at things, or just my daily routine.
Okay. Well, first, you mentioned your creatinine jumping recently. Have you been to your nephrologist? Have you guys talked about that recently?
Yes. After those labs was taken, I went and seen her, and we did talk, and she did say it was more significant, but she pointed out that the Cystin C number was more accurate.
Yeah.
And that made me feel a little better. It was 3.1, I believe, someplace around there. I'm just going by memory, but so she did ease my mind some, but that's a concern. And then I know diabetes is something I want to avoid.
Right.
So I'd like to have a better idea on how to avoid that.
Yeah. Well, that is awesome that you are being proactive about that, because I know that is a major concern with kidney disease is diabetes. It sounds like you're doing great though. And I don't want you to be too concerned about your lab values. I know it's concerning and scary, and you definitely should be proactive about it, but a lot of factors go into kidney function. So I'm glad you kind of eased your mind, so we can take a step back and look at ways we can be proactive. So when it comes to kidney disease, I want to get kind of an idea of your educational level with fruits and vegetables and proteins. And I know it can be really complicated, and there's a lot of options out there. So on a scale of 1 to 10, when you go to the grocery store, how confident are you that you are picking foods that you feel good about?
On a feeling good about level, probably a 6 or 7.
Okay, that's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so why didn't you pick an 8 or 9?
Because I like the taste of the foods that I'm not supposed to eat better.
Okay, yeah, so it sounds like you know what you're supposed to eat. You're pretty well educated. It's just making those decisions for you.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, that's good to hear that you know what you're doing.
The only thing I'm not, my family doctor was concerned about my potassium, and that was kind of new to me, so I'm not real familiar with that. So I would like to know more about that, as far as what foods that I should avoid and maybe replace.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about that. I got your 24-hour recall here from yesterday. As far as picking foods that are, kidney healthy, good for our kidneys, stuff like that, it looks like you're doing really well here. I mean, an apple and water for breakfast, really, really good there, getting our kidneys going. I'm a little concerned that maybe it's not enough for breakfast. I would maybe add a little bit more calories there. Do you usually have a breakfast that small?
Yes, I usually have one that's small or not one at all.
Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna take a step back and just talk about how today's gonna go. So we'll just kind of go over the 24-hour recall real fast so I can get an idea of your eating patterns. And then we can kind of talk about the potassium that you showed concern about. I see in your form here you also wanted to discuss maybe meal planning and staying active. So what we can do after we talk about the 24-hour recall and the foods is maybe set 1 or 2 goals together. We can like set a goal or 2 and then try to implement that in the next couple weeks, and then maybe set up a follow-up meeting. Does that sound
Sounds like homework, but yeah, I'm down for it.
Okay, yeah, and we won't set any goals that you're not okay with. It'll definitely be a 2-way street.
Oh,
All right, so I've never seen somebody put meal planning as one of their goals, so that is really awesome. Is that something that you have done in the future and or in the past and it didn't work, or is that something you're willing to try?
it's more of I'm just trying to create a routine of something where I'm not, where I'm making just better choices consistently. So
Okay.
meal planning, meal prepping, just something where I've got more of the good and less of the bad. However, I can do that.
Yeah, just when I had something in the back of our mind when we go through the 24-hour recall. So, talking about breakfast, we had an apple, a water, and a coffee. And to me, all sound like quick things, like easy to grab. So going back to your ideal of maybe meal planning, I think that'd be a great ideal for breakfast, because maybe that would get us some more calories in, and some, carbs, and protein, and fats, and all that stuff that we need. So I think meal planning would be a great ideal for breakfast. Lunch, I see chicken Alfredo and sweet tea. Was that like leftovers from home, or did you go out?
It was actually leftovers from the night before.
Okay. And then I see hot dogs and French fries for dinner. Do you have kids?
Yes, and
Yeah.
we have an air fryer that we've been testing at. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, that's coming.
Yeah, so something everybody would like, it sounds
Yes.
like. Yeah. Is that typical that like you usually eat what the whole family likes?
Yes, yeah.
Makes it easier than making
Yeah.
2 separate meals. Yeah, I get that. And then I see a couple candy sticks on here. Are those just like hard candies? I
Yeah,
guess?
just like
Okay.
the hard candy from like the gift shops. We got some from a gift from somebody who went on vacation, so they're just laying around the house. So yeah, so twice yesterday I walked by, and stuck my hand in the jar.
Okay, do you typically eat sweets a lot? Is that like a normal thing?
Yes, yeah. That and ice cream, and those are the things I'm going to struggle with.
Okay, yeah. Well, we don't have to set goals there unless you want to, but I know you did show concern about glucose and diabetes and stuff like that, so we can talk about that also. So I have a handout here for you, and it just has, here's like the new updated the food pyramid that we used to do in school. Do you remember that?
Yes.
So now they do this plate here, and I kind of just put some options for each category about how much a serving size is. 'Cause the only thing that's going to be a little bit different with kidney disease is we do want to watch our protein. We won't want like protein shakes and protein bars. Like natural protein is fine, but we don't want excessive amounts of protein. And then you sounded pretty well educated on like fruits and vegetables, and I know there's some things that are high, some things that are low. So, and then we can talk about the potassium also. So this is just something you can take home with you and kind of look over. Does anything like surprise you, or is there anything you want to talk about?
No, it just with going to the kidney doctor since 2005,
Right.
this all looks pretty familiar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have my computer here, and I was gonna pull up. You showed some concern about potassium. So I have this right here. And do you do a lot of like Googling or like researching on your own when you're like confused about things, or do you just kind of like, I don't know, I'm just gonna eat it, it's fine?
Yeah, I don't usually dig in that deep.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to say, if you ever do kind of get on here and Google around, I would definitely make sure you're using sources that end in like .org instead of .com. There's a really popular one people use, healthline.com. I wouldn't consider that a reputable source. So right here, kidneyfund.org is going to be a really good website to get some information from if you ever look up anything.
Yeah, that's good to know because marketing is clever now.
Yeah. And I myself did a little bit of research before our session, and I did find some things in healthline.com I wouldn't have recommended. So just wanted to point that out there. So right here I have some lower potassium foods and some higher potassium foods. We know bananas are high in potassium. Avocados are actually really high in potassium, so I would definitely limit those if you do eat those. Melons, oranges, prunes, and raisins are going to be the top ones here. Does any of that surprise you?
Yeah, I don't know if it surprises me, but the melons kind of hurt my feelings a little bit because when it comes to fruit, that's what I really love.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to have to find a replacement that I can live with, instead of cantaloupe and watermelon. Melon, dude.
Yeah, and I could actually, I'm gonna make a note of that. You really like melons. I really like melons. I'm gonna send a follow-up email after this session, just the things that we talked about, and any questions that you have that I can't answer. I'll do some research. I'm gonna do some research on that and kind of see what other people have been swapping that out for, because I know that's gonna be a common thing in future sessions. So I'm curious to what people have been replacing that with. Anything else you see here that you eat on a regular basis? I know you have tomatoes, potatoes.
For breakfast, like I said, I'll grab like an apple or a granola bar, and I see the granola on the high potassium food, so that's kind of shocking to me. So maybe I'm saying.
So just based on some things that I know, it does seem like this list is going from high to low. So I see, granola is kind of more at the bottom. So I wouldn't say this is super dangerous, completely avoid it. But maybe do limit it. If you want it every once in a while, with any foods, moderation is key. And then with like the beans and the brown and the wild rice, again, that it is a higher potassium food, but it's lower on the list.
What about oatmeal?
Yeah, so oatmeal is, it does have higher values of those things we want to avoid, but because of all the added nutrients and vitamins and things you are getting from it, I would say it is definitely a healthy option to eat when you're looking for something quick and easy. Is that something you eat often?
No, I was really just thinking maybe replacing the granola with the oatmeal for breakfast.
Yeah, so I did, like I said, I did some research before our session just to make sure I was up to date on everything. And I did see oatmeal was kind of a little bit higher in some of those things we want to avoid, but not too high. And because of all of its benefits, I would not exclude it. Maybe just moderate consumption of it. And then we have our lower potassium foods here. Do you see any options you particularly like from that list?
Of course, the apples and the grapes, and I do like the fruits. And then I see summer squash. I don't know what kind of squash I normally eat, but I do like squash. But I also see a squash on the bottom.
The winter squash?
So I would have to do some research on that, but it's something else I do like.
Yeah. Alright, so after kind of looking at this list of higher potassium and lower potassium foods, how do you feel about being able to make decisions on healthy potassium options?
With the charts that I have, I feel like if I put the put the effort in before a shopping trip, then I feel okay about it. It's just more of I need to do more of a planned meal,
Yeah.
and just kind of look ahead instead of grabbing something.
Yeah, planning out your shopping trips and planning out your meals, yeah. So I can send you a handout on potassium foods too if you would like, because I know this handout doesn't particularly say what's high in potassium, what's high in phosphorus. So I can definitely make a note to send you that. Alright, so we talked about potassium. Now I just want to get a little bit into the meal planning that you're talking about, and maybe setting a goal. We talked about breakfast and maybe meal prepping some foods for breakfast. Does anything come to mind that you particularly like for breakfast that you can meal prep?
Oatmeal, apples. That's the only two things that really come to mind.
Yeah.
Something that's not too bold in the morning, of course, just something kind of simple.
Yeah, and we can always add some extra calories in there by, adding in these fruits that we can have, like the grapes and the strawberries and the pineapples. Maybe having, like, if you do a small bowl of oatmeal, having like an apple on the side, just to add some extra nutrients and calories in there. Certain cereals would be a good option. Here we have rice cereals and cream of wheat if you like that. It's going to be like a lower phosphorus food. This is like what I was saying before, like oatmeal is definitely higher and some of those things we want to avoid, but I definitely wouldn't exclude it from your diet. I would just maybe limit it in your diet. So it sounds like fruit, oatmeal. I can send you some like breakfast bars if you like breakfast bars. Maybe some breakfast bars that would be a kidney-friendly option. Is that something you'd be interested in?
Yeah, because I like the granola bars, but I know I shouldn't eat those all the time.
And I know they have come a long way with like breakfast bars. Maybe making some of them. Like I know the ones I eat are like date-based than like granola-based. So I know they like have some options out there for like different breakfast bars where it wouldn't necessarily just be granola, so I can look into breakfast bars for you for our breakfast option. So going on to lunch with meal prepping, do you usually bring your lunch to work?
Yeah, I'm usually pretty consistent during the work day, whatever I take into work, and I don't do any more, any less. But yes, I usually just grab whatever I can to take. I don't make it for the week, and most of the time it's just like a leftovers from the night before.
Okay, so when you said that you're interested in meal planning, it's more of like days in advance.
That or, I just kind of put that down there because I'm really just wanting to change what I'm doing somehow.
Yeah.
I'm open to anything really.
Okay. So we usually take our lunch to work, but it's usually just something we can find in the fridge. Going into dinner, is that something that's usually like your family plans, or is that just?
It seems different all the time. We go out a lot. A ton of pizza, and we make simple meals most of the time. We usually don't do any complicated cooking.
Yeah. So I don't want to overwhelm you with goals. We usually only like to set 1 or 2 goals. So thinking about your day and how your habits usually go, what is a meal that you're most concerned with?
Probably dinner.
Dinner?
Yeah, because it's never planned, and it's always whatever's easy, and it's just never thought about. So dinner would be my biggest concern.
Okay, so we can definitely talk about dinner. With dinner, how do you usually eat what your family eats, or do you usually make a separate meal for yourself?
Most of the time, just whatever the family eats.
Okay. And if you decide to meal prep and plan these meals in advance, would that be I'm just trying to get an idea of what that would look like.
I would probably have to eat something different than what my family's
Something
eating.
different?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that was totally get that. So some things that just come to my mind are when we go to the grocery store. How often do you go to the grocery store?
3 or 4 times a month, probably.
Okay. Yeah. So that's a great amount. I like that, like once a week type of thing, because it gives us time to get fresh fruits and vegetables. Is that something that's usually on your list?
I usually grab a few,
Yeah.
peppers, and most of the time some sort of fruit, like a melon or, something like that. But,
So this is just something that comes to my mind. We don't have to set this as a goal, but from this list here, what if when you go grocery shopping, you pick one fruit, one vegetable, one protein, and you don't necessarily need a grain, but you can grab one. Is that something that you'd be able to do? And then maybe even each week picking something different and then exploring like more options?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I could do, especially for my lunch at work. I could do that.
Yeah. So, just thinking like if we went to the grocery store, say we got some peaches. I see you like popcorn and oats. I see you like almond milk, some chicken. Over here in vegetables, just picking one. Some cabbage. I think we just make sure we're getting one of each thing. And then, do you cook or do you?
No, I will cook. I really don't care to.
Yeah, well, I totally get that. So even picking options, maybe like frozen options. If you do canned options, I would definitely look for the no salt added. And then if you can't find that, just rinsing, giving them a quick rinse before cooking them is a really good alternative. But I think a lot of these foods are very versatile. So say you get the peaches, you can eat them raw, you can put them in your oatmeal, you can make a smoothie with your almond milk. And then if you go back to the store and you get one of each again, but something different, then I feel like maybe that might open up more options. Because I know a lot of times it seems like you might be eating the same things over and over and over.
Yes, all the time.
Yeah.
And then,
So is that a goal you'd like to set? Would that be okay?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll write that down here so I don't forget it either. So just getting one thing, at least one thing from each group here, and then finding some different ways to eat it and making it something you like, that you enjoy eating it. Do you have any questions about that goal?
No. I think it'll be interesting trying some new stuff and maybe eventually replacing some of the stuff I shouldn't buy with some of the stuff that's on here.
Yeah. And then, as you said, like wanting to try the meal plan after you purchase these, if you wanted to give them a quick search of seeing the way that other people eat them, like if you get, the red bell peppers, eating them as a snack, dipping them in some type of dip, or chopping them up and frying them with your chicken as like a saute. We're just trying different things with them to get all those different textures and figuring out different ways you like them. And making some in advance. If you do get a red bell pepper, don't get one, get like maybe 2 or 3, and then eating it through the week.
Try some different things with it. That sounds like a goal.
Okay. Do you think that would help you with planning your meals, or do you think that's just the same thing you've been doing, or is that
No, I think if I pick some different things, I think it'll actually help me with the meal planning, because I'll have to create something with it, and then the thing that I'm seeing may be better for me too is these may end up replacing some of the things I get all the time.
Yeah. Okay, so I wrote that down for me, so next time we follow up, I can check in on that. Also wrote down to check for some breakfast bars or just some breakfast options. I'm also curious what, if, I'm assuming people are just swapping out melons for like maybe some berries or something, but I'm just curious. I was gonna look into that. And then I was also gonna look into the squash thing and just see the different options, and then a handout on potassium. And then I was gonna email that to you, probably with sometime within 48 hours.
Yeah, that would be good, because I'm curious about the potassium.
Yeah, so do you have any other questions for me?
No, but yeah, just one.
Yeah.
You know, I've always struggled with the vegetables that I should be eating with kidney disease. And if there's any way you could just do some digging for me and see if there's something a little bit different, you know, than the basic 4 or 5 that always come up, because I don't mind eating vegetables. I just
Seems like you're eating the same thing every time. Yeah. I'd be happy to send you some more options, especially with that goal we set. I think having some more options and exploring things that maybe even going to, if you have a world market somewhere near, maybe some foods that like aren't necessarily around here very much, like different ethnic, you know how to say that word, right? Ethnic foods that we can try. I know I have one here, like, oh, maybe I didn't cut it. It was some like grain that I've never heard of, so I didn't put it on the handout because I just assumed that nobody knew what it was. But I will send you some options like that if you're interested, that maybe you'd have to go on your way to get to try. Yeah. Well, any other questions for me?
No, I'm ready to get this started, and we'll see where I'm at in a week or 2.
All right. Well, I look forward to our follow-up, and I'll send you that email. And thanks for meeting with me today.